I've been using the Osmo Mobile for most of my runs this year. Now, there's the Osmo Pocket. What's up, Oakland 450 back, and today I'll be doing my initial thoughts on the DJI Osmo Pocket. I've been using the Osmo Mobile for most of my runs that I've been doing this year, and I love its ease of use and the way it really smooths out a shot. Makes the shots look a whole lot better. But it is really cumbersome, and it's not easy to take on a longer run by yourself. So now we have the DJI Osmo Pocket. And one thing about this thing that really amazes me is the size difference in these two and how much is fit into this little bitty package. And just for a little bit more of a comparison, this is the battery for the DJI Osmo Mobile. So pretty much the only difference is the Osmo Pocket has a gimbal head on the top of it as far as size goes. Alright, in the box on the DJI Osmo Pocket, you get an iPhone adapter, a USB-C adapter, a charging cable, your quick start guide, and it comes with a carrying case for it and a lanyard attached to the carrying case. That's one of my first complaints about the DJI Osmo Pocket. I think that the lanyard should have been hooked to the Osmo Pocket for it to be an ease of use type thing and make a slot into the carrying case. That way you can just slide the Osmo Pocket straight back into it, and the lanyard's always attached to the most valuable piece of equipment and not your case. I'd rather have the lanyard on to the Osmo Pocket, sort of like what is done with the DJI Osmo Mobile, where it makes it being able to really steady that and keep that piece of equipment really safe and secure. Alright, I'm going to be taking this out on a first run and testing out the video quality of the DJI Osmo Pocket and seeing how it does and how it performs. The only problem I've ever had with the DJI Osmo Mobile has been face tracking during when I'm wearing like a hat or a beanie. So, I'm really going to put this thing to the test. I'm going to be wearing this during my run just to see if it can differentiate my face from these bright, loud colors, or if it has a problem with any kind of face tracking. So I'll go and do that run, and then I'll be right back. Alright, and I'm back. And that was just an easy 5-mile run at an 8:09 pace. Just trying not to basically focus on using the camera, not focusing on any kind of pace or distance or anything like that. Just seeing how the camera performed over the distance and how easy it was to use. All the footage that I just recorded, I recorded at a 1080 and 60 frames per second. And all of the editing for the original clip in the video and the running scene was all done with the DJI Mimo app. So I'm really impressed with that app. It done really good. It made editing really easy. There's really a small selection of music or anything like that. The only problem that I did have is I did try to do some editing with me talking, and the voice got out of sync. So I don't know if that's a problem with the software or what was going on, but sometimes when the video would be out of sync and sometimes it wouldn't. So that's the only problem I've really seen with the DJI Mimo app. As far as stability of this camera, I'm really impressed with the stability of this camera. It made it really easy to use, and it stayed focused on my face and stayed locked in the whole time. Even with the beanie on, it didn't have any kind of problems tracking my face or anything, and I tried to pull the beanie down as close to my eyes as I could. I'm not really sure what technology they're using or what they're focusing on using their face tracking, so I don't know what you gotta have to do to mess that up, but me wearing glasses and wearing the beanie did not even throw any kind of problems into that. As far as the buttons on this, the update that they have done to the software, where you can now use this one button over here to be able to rotate the camera from camera to picture, and to be able to switch it from front facing to rear facing, and to be able to recenter your camera. Makes this camera so easy to use, and made it one of the highlights of my run was being able to, when I could just put it down into the flashlight mode and have it and just double tap the button, it's going to recenter it right where that camera needed to be. So that made that easy to do that. And then the screen on the front, that helped a lot with framing any of my shots to make sure any of those shots were in frame. Overall, those are my likes that I've liked with this camera so far, is the ease of use and the small size of it. And now for the things that I don't like about the DJI Osmo Pocket. First off, like I said earlier, the lanyard. That would have really been able to get a little more confidence with this camera and not be able to be worried about dropping it the whole time you're going on a run. I would love to send this lanyard hooked to the camera instead of this case, and just to give you a little bit more of peace of mind. The next thing that I don't like about this camera, and all of these things that I don't like about the camera can be fixed with accessories that I found, but then you're putting more money into a $350 camera, alright? The next thing I saw was the small footprint of this camera. Trying to set this up on the rock wall to get that shot of me running at the camera. When I tried to set this up, it was so unstable that I was not able to set up a really good shot. And I had to get like some sticks and rocks and put it around the base of the camera just to be able to keep it stable so I could walk off and be able to run back at the camera. So that made it a little bit more difficult to easily set up a shot, which that could be fixed with the wireless module that goes on the bottom of this, or it could be fixed with the GoPro mount that hooks onto the bottom to be able to attach this to a tripod. Next thing that I do not like is trying to focus and center this camera if you don't want it recentered. If you don't want it completely centered, the gimbal wheel, that is another accessory for it, would make this so much easier to fine-tune where you're wanting this camera to be focused and pointed at, instead of having to make any kind of manual adjustments to the head without touching the lens. It has the little wheel on the side where you can make adjustments up and down, left and right, but that is another accessory that you're going to have to buy. So that's another thing that would make this camera so much better, but they had to leave out that accessory just to help it keep its small size. Next up is slow motion. I tried using the slow motion on this camera, and the slow motion, whenever you're using that, it zooms in so much that you've got to be at least 20 foot or so away from the camera to be able to get a good slow motion shot. And that makes it really a problem for me personally, by me doing my run and shoot videos, is I like to be able to get a nice slow motion video of a real close footstep. And this zooms in so much, the quality is horrible. And my cell phone can do a better slow motion video than this can. But I'm going to try using the slow motion a little bit more, just trying to use it off at more of a distance and framing that shot a little bit different. And finally, my next thing I don't like about the DJI Osmo Pocket is whenever you switch this little adapter around to be able to attach it to your phone, you attach your phone to it, and it's so wobbly. It feels like a really unsecure connection, and it has a gap under the bottom of it. And I'd say that's more for being able to use like larger phones like the iPhone like Pluses and the larger phones like that. But even then, this connection between those two doesn't feel really stable, and I actually had the app disconnect while I was trying to use it while filming and while trying to do some of my editing and transferring the pictures. There's another accessory that you can attach, and it hooks the Osmo Mobile to your phone and then has a cold shoe mount on the top, which wouldn't fix that problem. But then again, like I said earlier, that is another accessory that you're going to have to buy to be able to get this camera up to where it really needs to be. And as starting out as a $350 camera, you're moving your cell phone up to the $400, $450, $500 price range just to get the full potential out of this camera. But so far as my initial thoughts, I'm really happy with this camera. I just wish they had put some of those accessories into this camera and made it just a little bit larger. I mean, you wouldn't have to make it as big as the Osmo Mobile, the original, but just even having those like controller wheels or the wireless module on the bottom would have helped out a lot, or even just included those in the box for that price, or even ask a little bit more price. But they were trying to keep the price point down and make an affordable camera that still could work out of the box. I'm probably going to be using this camera more as like a vlogging camera, and I'm going to use it on some of my runs. But for the most part, if you're going and you're wanting to try to get this camera as a vlogging camera, this camera would be perfect, because you wouldn't really need all of those different fine-tuned things, because you're going to have the face tracking, you're going to still have high-quality video. Let me know in the comments below if you've picked up the Osmo Pocket and if you experienced these same problems as I have, or if you have any questions or comments. Let me hear them, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. I'm also picking up a GoPro Hero 7 Black from REI. I've got the year-end dividend from them, so I'm going to be able to get a big price off of the Hero 7 Black, and I'm going to be starting working with that camera next week, and I'm going to try to see how those two compare. So other than that, as always, thanks for watching, and thank you for your continued support.